Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So before I start watching the Phase 2 movies, I thought I'd go over the Phase 1 movies of the MCU. So I'm really enjoying watching all these movies in the order they released and seeing how they all fit together and knowing where they go in the future. The Phase 1 movies were connected through Nick Fury, Agent Coulson, and S.H.I.E.L.D., but they also feel like standalone movies, which I really like. It was a great way to introduce us to these new superheroes before having them team up in the Avengers. Even in the Avengers, we spend time getting to reintroduce with the heroes before they come together, and it's a bit rough at first, but eventually they learn to come together and work together. So that's kind of one of the things I really like about the Phase 1 movies, is that they're kind of standalone movies, but they're also building up towards the Avengers movie, and working together and getting introduced to all these characters is a lot of fun. So even though the Phase 1 movies are a bit smaller in scale and scope, they do a great job at building up the team, which is one of the strengths of the Phase 1 movies. Another strength I would say is the music. You have Iron Man with the AC/DC rock music that just brings a lot of fun energy. I really like the score they have for Captain America and the first Avenger. And of course the Avengers theme score has also become iconic, so I think the music was pretty well handled in Phase 1. Unfortunately, there are some weaknesses in Phase 1, primarily with the villains. They're a little bit weak. Obadiah was kind of cool, but he took a hard turn. Abomination had a cool fight scene, but I thought Blonsky was a thin character. Justin Hammer and Whiplash were kind of lame, except for the race car fight scene. That was cool. Loki in the first Thor movie was kind of okay, but using the Destroyer was kind of lackluster. And the Red Skull was decent, but I don't think they did enough with comparing and contrasting him to Captain America and getting to know him as a character. Loki in the Avengers was better handled and probably the best villain so far of the Phase 1 movies, and kind of one of the best villains overall in the MCU is that Loki in the Phase 1. Another weakness is Hawkeye. He only had a small cameo in the first Thor movie, and so we didn't really get to know him or build him up, and then he was immediately mind controlled for most of the first Avengers movie, and so I wish they kind of set his character up a little bit better. That way when he got turned, we would have had a little bit more sympathy for him. Luckily he gets fixed in the later MCU, but those are kind of some of the weaknesses of Phase 1 and some of the strengths of Phase 1 as well. Obviously it's no secret that I love Captain America. He's my favorite Avenger, and his introduction in Phase 1 is the big reason why I love him so much. He develops as a character each movie he's in, but never loses the qualities that made him the perfect super soldier. He's always the same good man at heart, and that's why I really love Captain America. I think Iron Man and Tony Stark are a lot of fun in this Phase 1. He develops as a character as he goes along, but in Phase 1 he has a lot of fun energy and vibes, and I really enjoy Iron Man here. I liked Edward Norton as Bruce Banner, but I think Mark Ruffalo's take on Banner in Avengers is probably my best version of Banner and Hulk in the MCU. I just really love how he's portrayed in that movie. Thor is okay. He comes off a little bit bland in Thor and in the Avengers, but he's okay. He definitely gets better. I know some people didn't like how Black Widow was handled in Iron Man 2, but it didn't really bother me. She still had some good scenes, and she's awesome in the Avengers movie, so that doesn't really bother me. I like how they introduced her in Avengers, and she becomes a kick-ass character, especially going forward. So now it's time to rank all 6 movies in Phase 1 of the MCU. So coming in at number 6 is unfortunately Iron Man 2. While I really do like the first half, or at least 1/3 of the movie, or at least parts of it, the ending is really bad. The villains are kind of lame. And I also don't like him discovering, creating, implementing a brand new element in like 2 days based off of Howard Stark's old Expo model. That's just a bit too much of a stretch for me, and it feels really rushed. So there's a lot of problems with Iron Man 2. But I do really enjoy the movie. I don't think it's completely terrible. If it's on TV, I'll probably watch it. But it ranks the last of the Phase 1 movies for me. So number 5 is The Incredible Hulk. I enjoy this movie every time I watch it. I enjoy it more and more. But one of the problems for me is the middle kind of drags a bit, with the exception of the Hulk out at the college campus. That's a great fight scene. The action I think is really well done. Everything, the first third in Brazil is really good. I like the ending and everything, but it just kind of lacks a little bit of that Marvel humor that we've come to expect. And then the romance with Betty Ross is kind of bland, and then there's a lot of stuff in the middle where nothing's really going on and things don't really make sense. But I still enjoy this movie more every time I watch it, and so I definitely like this. If it's on TV, I'm going to watch it. Number 4 is going to be Thor. Unlike The Incredible Hulk, I actually enjoy this movie less every time I watched it. I loved it when I first saw it, and the few times I've seen it after that, but the last couple times I've seen it, it's definitely gone down in quality for me. I love the opening with everything on Asgard and the Frost Giants fight scene. All of that stuff is really good. I like Jane, Darcy, and Selvig. I think they're a good sort of trio. They work well together. They provide some, especially Darcy provides a lot of good comedy. And I love the scene where Thor breaks into the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility in the rain. That's awesome fight scene. But everything kind of after that, the movie kind of just slows down and becomes kind of boring. The fight with the Destroyer isn't great, and then of course Loki isn't as good of a villain as he will become in the later MCU. So even though I used to love this movie, it's gone down on my list over the years, so it comes in at number 4. Number 3 was a tough one, because even though I love him so much, Captain America the First Avenger is going to be number 3, because while I love everything with Steve before he takes the super soldier serum, and I love Peggy Carter, and I love the 40s era aesthetic and everything about that, there are some problems here that I think drag it down a little bit. Red Skull is just kind of an okay villain. Like I said, they don't really do a lot with his character, and he just wants the Tesseract for reasons. I think they could have done a lot more in comparing, contrasting him to Captain America. And they do a lot of tell and not show with him. They thought, tell us about him, but they don't really show him a lot. We don't get to see him becoming the Red Skull or anything. We're just told all of that. So he's an okay villain, but I think they could have done a lot better. Also, because this movie has a lot of ground to cover, it never really kind of settles. Like, there's like montage after montage after montage of scenes, and we never really get to like see Captain America settle in the role and see how the effect it has on Americans and the country and the world, really, and that he becomes the first superhero. We never really kind of settle with that. It's just kind of just after he gets the super soldier serum, it just kind of keeps moving forward, because we have so much stuff we got to cover. We never kind of take that time to slow back down and kind of see how everything's affecting around Captain America. So for those reasons, it comes in at number 3, but I still love the movie. Alright, number 2 is Iron Man. So like I said, this was a really tough one, but I really enjoyed rewatching the first Iron Man movie for this. I think it holds up pretty well. A couple of things don't, and it just brings this fun energy that carries throughout the film, even when it gets dark. Like I said, the AC/DC music's a lot of fun. Tony Stark's energy is a lot of fun. The inner journey that Tony goes throughout is well done. I love Pepper Potts, and I really love seeing Tony physically building the suit. It makes it feel grounded and real, and that's something that's missing in the later MCU movies. And just when you see the Iron Man suit first emerge from the Mark 1 to the Mark 3, and him testing out the flying, and all of that is just so much fun and wondrous that it just really kind of brings the movie up. There's a lot of good quotes in here too as well. So Iron Man, it comes in at number 2 for me. I think this movie is still really solid, and I think it's still one of the best of the MCU movies. Alright, so it's probably no surprise that my number 1 movie is going to be Marvel's The Avengers. I just love this movie. It's so much fun to watch. Anytime it's on TV, gotta put it on and watch it. I love the introduction of each of the heroes' characters. We get, Cap, boxing, and Iron Man, and I like how we introduce the new Bruce Banner and everything. It's just so much fun. And Loki works as a good villain for this. The Battle of New York is awesome. Seeing all the characters just kind of come together and just have different interactions with each other is a lot of fun. Everybody kind of gets their moment to shine and work together. You get Hulk versus Thor, you get Thor versus Iron Man, Cap versus Loki. Lots of good fighting scenes here, lots of great action. Some people say this is the best comic book movie of all time. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it is definitely one of the best in the MCU. It just has so many great quotes and one-liners, and now it's got the iconic Avengers theme music, as well as that shot of them all in a circle is great. And the story is, there's some flaws, but the pacing goes really well, it flows really well, and it's just overall really well done. And it kind of becomes a template for the Marvel movies going forward with the sort of tone that we were setting up here. So I love it. It was a game changer for comic book movies when it came out. It's just really just a great movie, and it's definitely the best of the Phase 1 movies. Some people might say the first Iron Man is, but for me it's going to be the Avengers because I just love it so much, and I think Captain America is great in it as well. And it just has a lot of fun to it, and like I said, it kind of just shows you what Marvel is and what it can be and what it becomes. And for those reasons, I just think it's great, and it's the best of the Phase 1 movies. So that's my list. Alright, so those are my thoughts and rankings on the Marvel Phase 1. Share your rankings down in the comments below. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more Marvel content. If you want to help support the channel, go ahead and buy me a coffee with the link in the description below. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll be back next week with Iron Man 3 review and, of course, the final episode of She-Hulk. So until next time, Hulk smash. Bye.